Hey there, welcome to Vision Helpdesk video tutorials. Today we're going to see how to install Vision Helpdesk on Linux-CentOS server. Now, before we start with installation, let's just go to our website and order the free trial for the download license. So here you need to select the download license and select the product that you want to install. I'm currently selecting Helpdesk license. And now here you need to specify the domain name on which you're going to install Vision Helpdesk license. Now I'm using this desk.imdemo.com. Make sure you use some valid domain name that results on internet or that results on your local network, because we don't allow installing Vision Helpdesk on an IP address or localhost. Now once you sign up for the trial, you'll receive a welcome email with the login details to our billing area, that is secure.visionhelpdesk.com. You need to go to this services, and under services you have my services, and you should see this product that you have ordered. Now once you go to this product here, here you can download the latest setup for Vision Helpdesk software. Now here we have different set of files based on different PHP versions. So based on what PHP version you have installed on your server, you can download the respective setup for your installation. Now before we download the files, we need to make sure we have some prerequisites installed on our server. Now since it's a plain CentOS server, it does not have any web server, Apache or MySQL. Now I'm going to install everything right from scratch. So I have a couple of steps here to install this. We'll first of all install the web server. Now that it's installed, we will start the web service. Next thing we'll do is we'll install MySQL. Now CentOS 7 has got the MySQL under MariaDB, so we'll install this. And once we've installed MariaDB, we'll just start it. Now next thing we'll be doing is setting up a root password for MySQL. Now currently we don't have any password, so just press enter. And now here we can set the root password. Make sure the password for MySQL is different from the root password for your server. Now we'll install PHP, and there are a couple of modules that we need to install, like PHP MySQL, PHP curl, and we also have the different modules required here in the server requirements. So you can refer to server requirements article here in order to install other additional modules required. But in order to start with the installation, we are good with this PHP MySQL and PHP curl module. Alright, now we'll verify the PHP version that we have installed. Okay, we have got PHP 5.4 version. And now the next thing we'll need is ZendGuard loader. We have installation procedure for ZendGuard loader here on our support.visionhelpdesk website. You can see the steps for installing ZendGuard loader. Now you can download the free ZendGuard loader from following these steps here, and I'll show you how we can install that. Now even ZendGuard loader is based on different PHP versions. So for PHP 5.4 we'll require a specific ZendGuard loader. I have downloaded from this area, zen.com site. Okay, so here we have the ZendGuard loader file I have downloaded. And now before we start with this, we'll just make sure the web server that we have installed it's working for the IP address. Now this is the public IP address for the server, and if you see the test page for the web server, that means the web server is installed correctly. Now we'll try to add a simple info file for PHP. I create one simple PHP info file and now save this. There are some variables for PHP, we need to modify them. We'll go to the configuration file for PHP, that is php.ini. Make sure we have short open tag on. And the memory limit should be minimum 512. I will save this. And now once you make any modification to PHP INI, just make sure you restart your web service. Okay, now we can see the info.php file here. Okay, if you see this 500 error here, that means still we have issue with the short tag. Just verify if we have web service still running. Okay, I found the issue here. It was an incorrect syntax in this info file. I've just corrected the syntax here. So now this should work. So once you see this page, that means you have installed PHP correctly. And now the next thing we'll be doing is installing the ZendGuard loader. Now we'll look for the extension dir. So this is the location where we'll have to upload the ZendGuard loader.so file. Now here we have this ZendGuard loader.so file. We'll copy this file to the extension dir. Now we'll look for the PHP INI file here. And if you see, we have the additional .ini files, and the module goes to this additional files. So we'll just copy this URL, and we need to create one file for ZendGuard extension. Now here you need to enter the complete path for the ZendGuard loader.so file. Make sure this ZendGuard loader file, what you type here, it's case sensitive, so you just make sure you have use the correct name. And now we'll save this file. Now we'll restart web service. Now if you see here, we have this ZendGuard loader, and same thing we want to see on this web page here. If you see this line here, ZendGuard loader, that means you have successfully installed ZendGuard loader. Now next thing is we'll be adding our setup file. I've downloaded PHP 5.4 zip from our website billing area. Now we will unzip this file. Now while we are extracting this file, we can also set up the domain name here to point to this newly created web server. We'll add a DNS record for this subdomain. To point to this server IP. So that we'll be able to use the domain name instead of using IP address. And if you remember, this was the same domain that we used while ordering the free trial license. Alright, this works here. We need to copy this files under this upload folder. To our document root, that is via www.html. Right, so once you see these files here, now we'll modify the permissions for config file. And the pipe.php file. Now we can run the setup. Okay, so this is the installation page for Vision Helpdesk, just one single page. And now we need to create the database. We'll log into MySQL using the password that we used while installing. On this command prompt for MySQL, in this case MariaDB, of course, we'll create the database. Okay, we have root user and the password for the root user for MySQL. If you want, you can also create another MySQL user and a password, and you can grant the permissions for the newly created database. Now I'm going to use this root here and the database that we have created. This is the help desk default email, and this is the administrator, the first user, admin, the URL or the email address for the admin user. Just click on install. Now if everything goes right, I should see this login credentials for Vision Helpdesk. And now the next thing we have to do is remove the setup folder. You can remove it, or you can simply rename the setup folder. You can copy this. And if we go to this URL desk.imdemo.com, here you'll see the customer portal, and if we use this /manage, this is for the staff or the admin. This is the customer portal, and your staff or the admin users can log into this /manage. We'll use this admin user and the password. Alright, so that is your staff portal, and this is a client portal. Now, one side note, when you install this ZendGuard loader, make sure you don't have the Zen op cache enabled, otherwise it will give you error while installing. Now, normally with the PHP version 5.5 or 5.6, you should have this ZendOp cache that will be displayed here. It's installed default. It's installed by default with PHP 5.5 and 5.6. So make sure you just disable that ZendOp cache from the ini file that you'll find here, something like etc.php.t/opcache.ini. So you just need to comment that line Zen extension for opcache, and then you should be good with installation. Alright, so that's how we can install Vision Helpdesk on a CentOS server. Thank you very much for watching Vision Helpdesk video tutorials.